Mission.
Hi, this is Joel Persinger. I'm the Gun Guy. Thank you very much for all of your support on GunGuyTV. I am super grateful for everything that you do. Please don't stop. Check us out on Patreon if you get a chance. We have all sorts of exclusive content there you can't get anywhere else. And if you wouldn't mind checking out the GunGuyTV Firearms podcast, that's available on all of your favorite podcast players, including iHeart, and it's growing like crazy. Lastly, I will tell you that we do copy the entire channel on all of these platforms, so if something happens to us on YouTube, which is always possible, you will surely find us at one of those. I do urge you to subscribe to at least one, and then that way if something happens to us, you know what happened and you know where to look. Okay, what I have in front of me right now is a Standard AR15 Lower. Now this is a legal lower in California. This is what they call a featureless rifle. And you might ask me why I always go over this. It's because I know agents of the California Department of Justice watch my channel, so I got to make sure they know what I've got is legal. This is what's called a featureless rifle. It doesn't have any of the offending features that California doesn't like. It doesn't have a flash hider, for example. It doesn't have a pistol grip. It's got this fin, so I can't wrap my thumb around the grip. It doesn't have a collapsible or adjustable stock. It doesn't have a forward grip or any of that kind of stuff. So that's what makes this legal in California. Now what you'll see as you watch me shooting it in the videos, you'll see that it doesn't change the functionality of the rifle at all. It still works very well. You can still change your mags normally and that kind of stuff. That's the attraction of a featureless rifle. Now in this rifle is a CMMG Resolute 300 9mm upper, along with their charging handle and their radial delayed blowback system for 9mm. The cool part about this is that it fits very well on my standard AR lower, and with the CMMG 9mm conversion magazine, which is what this is, I can use my standard AR mags in my standard lower and I can run the gun. I don't have to have a dedicated lower in 9mm in order to have a 9mm carbine. And I can do this one of two ways. I offer two ways of doing it. I can purchase the magazines directly from CMMG. That's what this is. This is a 10-round magazine that came directly from CMMG. They come marked 10 rounds, and they're unalterable. You can't get the base off of them to alter them. So they're 10 rounds, that's what it is. So if you're in a restrictive state like California, this is what makes this completely California legal. If you put it on a featureless rifle, you now have a really nice 9mm carbine on your featureless AR, and you've got magazines which are legal. Hopefully the magazine case that's in the court right now will be, the decision of Judge Benitez will be upheld, and then it won't matter. You can get 30-round mags. Now if you are in a free state, or if you have magazines you'd simply like to alter, you can do that too. I have to push the button with my fat fingers here. There we go. You just have to remove the base on your magazine and then take the guts out of it that would normally be in it, which are not in this one. And then instead of the spring and base plate and follower, which would normally be in a PMAG, I think this Gen II and Gen III PMAGs are what you need. You would insert this, which you would get from CMMG. It's less expensive because you only have the guts. You don't have to, you're buying the magazine someplace else. And then you insert this, and this becomes your 9mm spring and follower. Now, if you're in a restrictive state, it comes with this plug, like a plug in your hunting shotgun, and so you can only load 10 rounds. If you're in a free state and you want to trim it, you can. If you trim it all the way up here to this little line, guess what? Now it's 30 rounds. Now it's not legal to do in California or other restrictive states, but if you're in Arizona or another free state, you can do that. And now you have your 30-round 9mm mag that looks just like every other PMAG, except it's for 9mm, and that's going to go in your standard AR lower, and you're ready to rock and roll. I love it. There's a couple of things you need to know. First of all, these magazines, this magazine type, I guess they made it in conjunction with Mean Arms, but these were designed specifically to function with the CMMG Radial Delayed Blowback operating system. So they won't function with a standard blowback upper, just so that you know. You won't be able to use them that way. They're really proprietary, and they work solely with the radial delayed blowback system. It's important to know that. Because when you combine the CMMG upper with the radial delayed blowback system and this mag, this thing runs flawlessly. I think I've put 500 rounds through it so far, or more. at least 500 I've put through it, and it hasn't hiccuped at all. It's just run. I put cheap Tula steel case ammo through it, ran it like a Swiss watch. I put I put defensive ammo through it. I put brass case range ammo through it. I've run a bunch of stuff through this gun, and it has run absolutely flawlessly. So you ask why? What's the point? Okay, well, here's a few points. First of all, 9mm and other pistol caliber carbines have become very popular. For example, the Ruger PC carbine is one. My wife has one of those. There's a few reasons for them, and where the AR is concerned, they're really, really neat. First of all, it's a lot cheaper for me to go to the range and shoot a bunch of 9mm than it is for me to shoot a bunch of 5.56 or 223. It's just cheaper shooting, so you get a lot more practice. You don't have to spend quite a bit as much money doing it. While the 223 is an easy round to reload, if you like to reload, 9mm is a ton easier to do. So I'd much rather load 9mm on a progressive press and crank them right out than have to do 223s. It just takes longer and it's more of a pain in the butt. You got to lube the cases and so on, where with the right dies I don't have to do that with pistol cartridges. There's other reasons like that. So that's one thing. The other is I like to shoot steel, and shooting steel closer with a pistol caliber carbine is a lot more fun than having to shoot steel farther away. So that's also neat. I enjoy doing that. There are folks that just like pistol caliber carbines more for home defense than they do 5.56. I think they're under the mistaken idea that pistols don't penetrate as far. That's been proven false, but nevertheless, sometimes if people believe things, it is what it is, and so they'll want the 9mm because they don't think it penetrates as far as the rifle round. Actually, that's the reverse. The 223 or 5.56 generally doesn't penetrate as far because the bullet's lighter and it tends to come apart quicker. But still, people will have them for that reason. But the other positive of something like this is that you've got 4 points of contact. You've got your cheek weld, your shooting grip, your front grip, and your shoulder. And that's 4 as opposed to maybe 1 or 2 hands on a handgun. You've also got a longer sight radius or an optic on it, and you've got places to mount things like lights or whatever. It just is an easier firearms platform to use and shoot accurately, particularly for people who are not terribly experienced shooters. So there's a lot of positives behind these things. I've just listed a few. There are others. There's some negatives as well. But if you're interested in them, one of the things I do love about the pistol caliber carbine option on my Standard AR Lower is that it's on my Standard AR Lower. So I can put on my 5.56, my 300 Blackout, my 9mm, my this, my that, whatever, and it brings me back to the magical modular nature of the AR-15, which is one of the things that's absolutely brilliant about it. So I think this system is outstanding. Like I said, I've been running it for a while. I generally try things for a month or two before I review them, and I think I've had this for, I don't know, 3 weeks, something like that. It's really, really well made, and I don't say that lightly. It's extremely well made. It does come in multiple finishes. I think this is the OD green, and there's a coyote and different ones like that, so you can check that out on their website. There will be a link in the description. I urge you to check it out. CMMG makes some marvelous things, and this system with these uppers and the CMMG 9mm conversion magazine, or for that matter, the conversion magazine kit, where you can change your own. You got a Gen II or Gen III PMAG, and you want to do it yourself, is just absolutely brilliant. Oh, lastly, I should tell you, they do, if you're going to buy an upper from them, they do have uppers that are shorter. So if you want an AR pistol and you want to do it in 9mm, you certainly can do that, but not in California. It's not legal here, which is why I didn't have them send me one, because I wasn't sure whether I was just going to be reviewing it in Arizona or whether I was going to be bringing it to California. But if you can have a pistol and you want a shorter one, you certainly can do that, and it's going to work just as brilliantly with these mags as this one has, which is pretty darn cool. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful week and have a terrific Thanksgiving. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat too much and hang out with family. That's what you're supposed to do, I think. Wherever you go, whatever you do, please be safe.